Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Night Night with Phee on the Phee Smee Network. I am the Pheeologist himself, Phee Smee. Glad to be with you tonight. We've had quite a chaotic day. Enjoyed every bit of it because bottom line is I'm healthy, happy, and being able to do what God is allowing me to do. So I'm thankful for that. Hope you guys had a great Wednesday. I didn't get out much today except to have a couple of meetings. But this is my third live show since we had some technical difficulties earlier today, and then Mark had to go run and play. Next thing you know, they leave Phee in the studio by himself, and that's just never a good thing for Phee or anybody else. So I had dinner with my wonderful son and his beautiful wife tonight. Just got back. Dogs were going crazy. And next thing you know, it's 8:57 and Phee Bird's got a show. So we're going to rock and roll here today, and we've had a great week as far as our shows. We are growing on a lot of our platforms. Still in a big void on one of them, and I can't seem to get out of it in the right algorithms. But sooner or later, we're just going to keep knocking on that door, and one day we'll break down that door, or someone will just turn the knob and open it. We'll walk right through it. But last night, we had a great night on Night Night. Tonight, we're going to talk about living in America. You've heard that song, hadn't you? Greatest country in the world to live in. I've been all over the world, and I can tell you that no one has the freedoms or the liberty that we have in the United States of America. It's time to be patriotic. It's time to be excited about it. If you don't love your country and you don't love America, it's time to get out, because the civil unrest, the paid protesters, all the things that are going on in our country on a daily basis, the shootings, we just have a lot of things to clean up, and we've got the right president to do that. He was anointed for this, and he's going to continue to take that National Guard from Washington, D.C., all the way across the country. And in the end, the first responders, the police, and the National Guard will play a great role in our security in the United States. Thankful to be from the United States. You know, I was a devil and I was an eagle. Amazing, when I was growing up, I started out a blue imp, then a blue devil, and always an eagle. So my baseball team was the Eagles, and my football and basketball teams were the Devils. So I got a little bit of both in me, but thank you for my Lord Jesus Christ that the devils can be cast aside, and the eagle will fly. And we are the great wings of an eagle that carry the woman in the 12 stars out to the wilderness for 1,260 days, times and a half, 42 months. Not a hard concept for you folks and prophecy teachers out there teaching a 7-year tribulation that's the wrath of God. It's a 3.5-year tribulation, and it's the wrath of Satan. We won't be here for the wrath of God. We will be raptured out right before the Battle of Armageddon. So you don't have to worry about the wrath of God if you're a child of God. And that's what we're doing here at the Phee Smee Network. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'd like for you to hit some subscribers, or get me some subscribers. Hit that subscriber button. And just as always, I forgot to turn off my ringer, and it's steady beeping. So now I have done that. These questions keep rolling in. I thank you for the questions. I appreciate them. They continue to get, these questions get better and better. They're not as risque, talking about the sex. They've calmed down, and I appreciate that with you guys. Like I say, I'm a coach. It's life skills, business deals, and sports drills. Coaching theology is what I do. So I answer the questions you send to me, but at the same time, they're always going to be answered the G-rated, because you just don't know what's out there. In my search of the dark web and the pornography industry is just captivating our young people, crushing it. And with our diets, they're just crushing the thyroid and the liver. So tune into the Phee Smee Network. I think you'll learn something every time you do, and I do appreciate you being here tonight. Remember, if you're not live, you can always catch the replays at any time on all of our different platforms. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will get to the first question right now. Phee, Bill Gates said that iPhones will be obsolete in the next 5 years. They will be replaced by nano tattoos that connect you to everything and anything. Would that be considered the mark of the beast? Sutton from Kansas. Well, Sutton, we talked about Neuralinks last week when I had a question in, and as I answered it, I've always have thought that Neuralinks would be one of the greatest things in as far as health and science, but it would also be very dangerous, as anytime that you're dealing with the human mind and have access to that, then you're dealing with problems. This is a little more on that subject with Bill Gates. You know, Bill Gates has sold Microsoft and has invested heavily with Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. And so I'm not a big fan of Bill Gates. They build statues of him in China, but all the vaccinations he's given to the African countries, also in India, they're having all kinds of problems with those vaccines and those little kids. My heart goes out to those folks. This globalist agenda with the World Health Organization is right up Bill Gates' alley. Him and China own a tremendous amount of farmland. They are in several meat processing plants, production, and I don't have a lot of respect or trust in Bill Gates. But this technology with these tattoos, what you're looking at here is when you have a tattoo, they're going to go under the skin with needles, and they're going to put ink in. Well, now with this, what you're calling might be the mark of the beast, it is a nanotechnology that instead of the ink going in, they will be able to connect all of your nerve endings and your human consciousness in that. So what he's saying is you won't have a need for phones. Normally what you find out is those things don't come to market. They've had that technology for a while, as they've had artificial intelligence since 1987 when I saw it in a lab there. So they tend to roll it out when it's advantageous for them to roll it out and when the public's ready and prepared for it. So I don't think you're going to be looking at this replacing your iPhones anytime in the near future. Now, if you're talking 10 years from now, that's a strong possibility. So, but I don't think you're going to be looking at that being rolled out and phones being obsolete for any time soon. But as far as the mark, we can go to Revelations 13. If you want to go over to Revelations 13, I believe the verse we're looking for is 16, but I will start reading to give you a little background in verse 11. So this is Revelations 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwelleth on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that image of the beast should both speak and cause that many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So there is a picture in John's vision in Revelations of the Antichrist and the false prophet. And the false prophet is going to tell the world that the Antichrist is God. He's going to stand in that third temple. They're going to rain fire down from heaven, and no man shall be able to buy or sell without a mark. Now, if you're not aware, there are many, many countries in Europe that already have their employees taking a mark. It's a scan. Even in America here, you have animals that they put a chip in them, and you can tell where they are in case they get lost. So you can see how they slowly change the culture over a long period of time. And it's like a boat without an anchor. You don't know how far you floated until you realize that you're way away from your destination. So we have to be careful about marketing and being able to find good things and good uses for new technologies. Because remember, anytime that a new technology is invented or enhanced with different options, there's a lot of good things they're going to be able to do with Neuralinks, and they will be able to do them. You'll be able to see. You'll be able to, a paralyzed person will be able to walk. They'll be able to use amputees' robotic arms, even to the point of drawing and writing using keyboards by doing nothing more than thinking. And I'm all for that. But remember, anytime that you're dealing with the human mind and you're connecting that to a computer program, to make it on a journeyman's terms, that's very dangerous from a psychological standpoint. But from a human consciousness standpoint, you don't know what they'll do to program and what's in there. You're already seeing lots of this AI causing suicides and this Gronk and this GP chat. People ask questions and then all of a sudden they commit suicide. So a lot of opponents of that would say that those AI machines are telling people to do that. But your mind is very important to the point where you know nobody else has access to it. They don't know your thoughts. Only my Lord knows your thoughts and you. There's only two people. Your wives, your children. No one else knows what goes on in your mind except my Lord and you. So when you give other people access to that type of programming, remember there's 87 billion neurons in the brain. And each one of those neurons have about 10,000 receptors. So it's a very complex organ. And I will tell you that the scientists over the last 30 years have done a really good job at isolating different parts of that brain to the point to where they can actually get to the portion of those neurons and those transmitters to where they can isolate, much like I'm going to be doing with my exomes and my stem cells with genetic engineering. So if you connect your brain to a software program that allows you to do wonderful things like see or hear or move robotic arms or not have to have a wheelchair, those are all miracle, wonderful things. But you're also giving them access, even if they don't know it. Let's say it's from the manufacturer and the people that are selling it actually don't know it. What normally happens, just like your iPhone, you'll have updates, and they will be able to send those updates. Just like your, well, right now they have for diabetics in their arm injections. Also pacemakers. They get that information through that pacemaker. They're going to be able to just think of a more enhanced, more intelligent piece of equipment that is going to be attached to your brain. So now you're talking about taking that to a different level with Mr. Gates's idea of the nano tattooing. remember, a lot of people don't want to have tattoos, but there are invisible tattoos that people can't see unless they're under a certain light. So that will be very common and a marketing or sales tool for the people who do not want to show people that they have a tattoo. They'll still be able to have that, and then people won't know it unless it's under a certain light. So very dangerous. Nanobot technology has been here for at least 5 years. I started studying intensively about it 3 years ago. I was terminally ill in May of 2022, and I spent 9 months trying to study these technologies and study all of the enhancements and the. But what I found is you can do a whole lot of things with different delivery methods. There's a lot that you can do with lights, lots you can do with frequencies, lots you can do with magnets. There's different delivery methods for different types of diseases. If you can genetically engineer them, even with time capsules, I have one procedure where you will go in and into the organs, and then they will release in the organ, just as much like you would take a 12-hour capsule for a stuffed up nose or nasal problems. So it's called a time release capsule. Well, these capsules would just go wherever you wanted to send them in the body, and then they would burst inside where you want them to burst. And then you could see, with magnets, you could actually keep them in there long enough that if you actually fertilize that organ with exomes, then the stem cells would stay, and that would regenerate. Remember, regenerative medicine is here to stay, robotics is here to stay, and AI has been here, is here, and will be here for many years. So we're going to have to pay attention to these types of statements, because what he wants you to do is to access any information you can access on this phone, call anybody you want to call, text anybody you want to text, just by thinking about it. So that is, and he'll even have you pulling up with your hands different screens right in the air with holograms. And technology is amazing. Science and math has always been something that I've loved. I've always been pretty good at it. And if you add that with sports, that's why I'm a handicapper. I always loved to bet and to gamble and to coach. And so many years ago, when the internet was just starting, the pornography industry and the betting industry drove the internet. That was what people were attracted to, and that's where most of the traffic went on the internet. Right now, 25% of all search engine requests are from pornography. So you're looking at that 20 billion a month asking about that, and it's swept our country. It's an epidemic in our country. It's crushing young people, their ability to flirt, their ability to reach out and interact and to real humans besides staying behind a computer. And it's something that, as the Bible states, that love will grow cold because of lawlessness, and knowledge will increase, and that's AI. So yes, I'm well aware of the nano tattoos from Mr. Gates. I'm not a fan of them. I think he's dangerous, and I certainly think that before you look at putting something on your body, whether it's a tattoo or a Neuralink, that you really pray and ask for guidance and direction in that. Like I told him, I would be quite a hypocrite if I was blind or one of my children were lost a limb or was paralyzed, and I had the ability to get them something that would help them walk again or function without disabilities. I would certainly do that. And then when you start thinking, well, what if you did that, and then in the future one of their updates included some real demonic or satanic, some suicidal or homicidal type of programs that would then go in the mind. So anytime you're dealing with the human mind, it's just very scary for me to know that people have access to that. because not everybody has your best intentions at heart. There's a lot of them that don't. They're very in the negative. Remember, no matter what's invented or in this world, you can use it for good and you can use it for bad. So I would be very leery of doing that. Now, other people are thinking, well, this is just another number. You know, we're just a number to everybody anyway. So you got your Social Security number, you got your everything's on record. And even President Trump talking about connecting all of these interfaces, networks for health reasons. See, it sounds good. You go on vacation someplace and you have a heart attack. The ambulance driver can pull right up your information. It goes straight to wherever your records are. It comes right back to them, and before you get to the hospital from the ambulance, they've got all your records, know all your past medical history, and know if you're allergic to any medicines. See, all that sounds really, really good, and that's the way they will market it. But at the same time, if they can do that, which they've been doing, and don't tell me that they haven't been interfacing with medical records for a number of years. Your federal government is your largest insurance company with Medicare and Medicaid, and why do you think they started hospice that kills people in 7 days? So they remember, a cured patient is a lost customer. So they want to keep you on that medicine all your life until you're diagnosed terminally ill, and then they want to kill you as quick as possible, because they got to turn those beds in 7 days. So all of those things, when you're talking about health, remember the best ability is availability, and you can't do anything if you're not healthy. So a lot of great advantages to medical technology, but also a very dangerous time when you start connecting your mind and to outside sources, if that makes sense to you. And I do appreciate that question. Sutton from Kansas, I hope I answered it with Revelations 13:6 or 13:16 with that mark of the beast. Remember, in the Greek, the word for a is horaga, Horaga. It's a stamp or imprinted mark, and these nanocapacitors will link with the transhumanist's body, and what you'll be finding is that they will sell it as a health advantage to you first, and from there then it'll go throughout the rest of their marketing, which will include, I can assure you, anything and everything that you want to do, and they're going to make it real easy for you not to want to do anything. So they're going to pay you, and they're going to give you a lot of things for not working. These salesmen now aren't working near as hard as they used to, but the sales force is going to dwindle significantly when machines are talking to machines. They'll have to have some to oversee and to see if there's any problems, but they're not going to be a humongous amount of salesmen. And just like I told you last night, China just opened their first mall with nothing but robots as employees. So no employees in the mall except robots helping you and taking care of you as far as customers are concerned. So all of this is coming. It's just a matter of time. But if you're thinking about would that Bill Gates nanotechnology tattoo be a mark, it certainly could be. Now, in Revelations, it said in your right hand or your forehead. Again, if they put it in the back, some people already think the Neuralinks is the mark. I do not, but I do think it's very dangerous and it's heading in that direction. Now, for Bill, that was Elon Musk. Now you got Bill Gates coming out with this technology as far as tattoos. That ink will have the ability, when it goes in your body, to connect with your nerve endings and send those transmitters to that brain, to where you won't even have to need a need for the phone. You'll have it all consciously inside you. So very dangerous, and I do not think it will be mainstream anytime soon. And I think we're going to have other problems to where that might not ever get to market. But yes, very dangerous when you start talking about being able to connect the human mind to anything outside the body. So thank you again, Sutton, for your question. Second question, Phee, I have been taking Viagra for years for ED. Now I'm starting to have heart problems, and my physician has told me to quit taking Viagra. What is the best natural product for me to take? Thank you, Frederick from Indiana. Frederick, if you go to the internet and just look at almost any of your social media platforms, they have a plethora of products that are supposed to help you with ED. It wasn't 40 years ago to men in their 70s and 80s were having sex, absolutely no problem. Now you've got 25 and 30-year-old men that have a problem with erectile dysfunction. You've got them premature baldness. A lot of it is diet. A lot of it is the poison and the plastics and the pesticides and the water you're drinking. What they've done since 1952 is just like John D. Rockefeller said, we're going to give them everything to make them sick, and we're going to give them everything to make them well. So they've done that, and what you're looking at as far from ED standpoint, it's they're crushing the thyroid. Women have a very difficult time getting pregnant. Their windows, all of them are. Some of them are starting menopause now in their late 30s and early 40s. That used to be a mid-50s thing. They're starting their menstrual cycle at a much younger age now. That might have to do with the hormones in your food. If they can grow a chicken in 8 weeks instead of 12, then that just gives them 4 more rounds of profits. So that's here. I did a deep dive in 12 different subjects that I have planned to roll out over the next 6 months after I get this up and ready and get this coffee filter behind us to go into phase 2. But when I was studying all these different products and supplements for my situation back in 2022, I ran across a company that was an ED company. But what I was looking for was an ingredient that had green tea extract in it. I drink a lot of green tea, but you don't get enough green tea extract to really make a difference in trying to regenerate or at least cleanse the liver to the point where it's got to go from a decompensated liver to a compensated liver, which people said couldn't be done, and I have done it. But I had to go find the doctors that would do what I asked them to do, and I had to go overseas to do that. But when I was checking that, I found a product. So I went on their website, I put in my name, my phone number, and I got a call back, and these folks were from a real foreign country, and I'd forgotten where it was now, but it was over in maybe Taiwan or somewhere in that neighborhood. And so they started trying to sell me on this ED medicine, and started telling me how it would grow my penis, and that it would be you could go for 3 and 4 hours. And I said, well, I certainly appreciate doing business with you, but the bottom line is I'm looking for green tea extract, L-arginine, and gojo berries, and your product had 2 of the 3. That's why I filled out the question. But since then, I had found another product, and I found it in California. So, but I thought that was interesting because what they're trying to sell these young men and these young people, all types of enhancements. And remember, if you start taking Viagra and you start taking male enhancements, what that does is kind of like the $300 serums and lotions that wealthy women put on their faces and their skin. They are just so silky smooth, and your skin looks beautiful and your face looks radiant. But what you'll find, as soon as that tube is out, after about 3 days, you look like Miss Alligator, because what you've done is you've replaced your body's natural ability to produce those oils that lubricate your skin. And so once they get you hooked on that skin cream, that serum, you've got to continue to buy it, because your body no longer produces that moisturizing or those oils. Well, it's the same thing with these erectile dysfunction medicines. Your penis fills up in cavities, and then it's kind of like the door's shut and it stays erect. And what you'll find is when you start depending on Viagra or any of these ED pills, then your body does not produce or have the muscles to shut those doors anymore. So when you get excited, the blood fills the member, but then the doors don't shut. The hinges are just keep coming open, flopping open. And so if you don't continue to take that medicine, you don't have those doors to being able to shut and trap that blood in there. So they just keep flopping. It's like a pinball machine, with those flippers. And so your penis might get erect, and then it'll go right back flaccid because the blood can't stay in there. So I don't recommend any ED medication. What I do recommend is you changing your diet and start maybe supplementing it with some different vitamins like L-arginine and zinc. Also beets for nitric oxide. You have some DHTs, which is bad testosterone, and that's from bacteria that builds up because of your diet and all the toxins in your body. What will happen to you is you'll start producing testosterone, but it will be bad testosterone. And that's what's really causing a lot of these ED at young, premature, 30, 40. But even 60 and 65-year-old men that are now hooked on this Viagra, or they're hooked on taking this testosterone, they call it clean testosterone, and they have to go in and inject it in their testicles or underneath their scrotum, and some in the base of their member. What you're looking at is that's synthetic clean testosterone. That's not your own body's producing that testosterone. So the important thing is for you to get that DHT or that bad testosterone out of your body to clear those blood vessels, and then try to work on being able to get those doors shut naturally with your blood flow in there. And it might take exercises in order to do that, and certainly diet. But I've got beets here. You can take watermelon seeds, squeeze lemon, put some beets and water in it, and drink that on a daily basis. It would help you. Your zinc and your L-arginine, you can pick up at any supplement store. That will also help you. But it's all about the toxins in the food and the water and the pesticides. They're really, and then of course the porn. The pornography industry is just crushing young people. They see these, they're actors, and they don't understand that that's a production, that's a movie, and the woman's acting, the man's acting, and that's not real life and not real relationships. And then when you spend 3 weeks on a dating app talking to somebody behind a computer, take them out to eat or to see some live music, and you've been with them 2 hours, and you think you've been with them a month, and that's how you make mistakes and jumping too quickly into relationships. And remember, when it comes to sexual sin, that's connecting two bodies. That's why Jesus and Paul talk about sexual immorality, is because that's connecting two and making it one. And so what's in someone else's mind that might be transferred, that's very, you just don't know what's out there. I mean, folks, these people are they're doing some really satanic and demonic stuff out here with menstrual blood and semen and water and dipping strawberries in them and eating them. And it's just it's a satanic ritual that is becoming mainstream to the point where, 8 and 10% of folks are out there playing in that arena or that sandbox. That's not 1% or 2%. You know, it's very. I'll tell you that besides having 2,000 kids a day taken from our country, and losing 256 young people a day to fentanyl, and by this time next year it'll be 2,000. You're looking at some real problems that we have from a cultural standpoint, from a sociology standpoint in our country. And we're fixing to go through one of the greatest evangelistic movements that the world's ever seen. And with all the war and the death we're going to have, that will bring people to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But you don't have to wait to that. Remember, the United States, the reason you should love America is we're not going to fall. We're going to have some problems, but we're going to be there in the end. It's going to be Israel, Jordan, and the United States against the world, folks, and we still win. So your president was anointed for this. Just remember, all those European leaders that were over there at the White House yesterday, or Monday, every single one of them are for a two-state solution except our president, and they were all in that room. And I don't see this Ukraine-Russia war going away. I think Putin's playing them like a fiddle. He's not going to give them anything. He's just going to continue he's going to keep what he's already got. And I think that you're going to find that the European Union is going to have to get involved with troops. The Leopards are already there for the German tanks. And that war's going to grow. But World War III comes out of the Euphrates River. It comes out of the Iran, the Iraq, Syria, and Turkey region. Some people think it started during Israel and Iran's 12-day war. When the United States went over there later on and took out some of their nuclear facilities, that had to be done. And, of course, I told you that those things were going to happen before they did. And just like I'm telling you now, that those European leaders, they're going to be against the United States. The only thing that is difficult for me to be able to see how it gets to that point is how does Russia get on the same team as all of them? And the answer to that's got to be the Sixth Trumpet War and World War III. But that's a situation that we'll try our best to keep monitoring, and hopefully we've got several years before that happens, and I just don't think we're going to have that long. But hopefully we will, because I want to have some grandbabies having fun with pickleball and playing golf and enjoying life. And I've got lots of these medical things to get out and this National Electronic Communications drill to get out. So I've got a lot of things to do. But Frederick, in Indiana, if you've had heart problems, you've got to get off the Cialis and the Viagra. You've got to get into some natural remedies. I would not trust a lot of folks that remember, you see Dr. Oz and you see this Barbara O'Neill and you see all these people that are selling all this stuff. You can go and they're going to get paid for anything they pitch, and AI is going to put their voice patterns together. So just because you see somebody that you're very familiar with pitching that product doesn't mean that they had anything to do with that product. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. It's just all a deception. And so don't think that they're out there. They had Elon Musk was selling some type of male enhancement pills. And I was thinking, well, I sure hope that he's not struggling so bad that he needs another source of revenue by doing that. And then I come up, because I'm in this business, to where I can actually choose from, Samuel Jackson, Denzel Washington, Will Ferrell, Barbara O'Neill, Dr. Oz. You just choose them, and they're going to get a royalty or a payment for people that view, but they're not there. It's just their image. So be aware. And with these masks now, they can put you anywhere they want to put you, anytime. They got your DNA, they got your pictures, they got your voice. Most folks don't even know what a cloud is. They got everything you've ever put on anything on that phone. And when they say end-to-end encryption, that just makes it worse, folks, because they got it from the front end to the back end, and they still have it. And when you delete things, they're not gone. So just do what I do. Just put your cameras up and don't worry about it, and don't do anything that you don't want anybody else to see, because they got everything. They got your DNA. They got all your blood tests, your medical history. They got your pupils in your eye, your voice patterns. They can put you anywhere they want to. And if you hadn't seen these masks, there was a movie. I was in a movie store business in 1986, and there was a movie called FX, and it was a special effects Hollywood production movie, and it was phenomenal for that time. So they had the exact same. If you want to watch Miss Doubtfire or Tootsie, movies that are 20 and 25 years old with these masks, they have these masks so now, and these robots with these skins that are just, I mean, you can't tell the difference. And right now they're showing you it's second and third generations to where you think, oh, look, his speech is off. Oh, that's AI. That's AI generated. That's on purpose. They're doing that on purpose because they want you to think you can tell the difference. So they're putting out bad products or bad pictures. They're 5 generations ahead of that. It's like these hackers. They can hack anything they want. They've hacked Homeland Security. They've hacked the Pentagon. You want to put all your money in a World Bank digital currency, I just think Mr. Hacker's coming for some of it. Probably 1/4 cent for every transaction that you'll never miss. And by the end of the day, he's making, $500 million a day. So that's the way those things work. But if you want to get into the beets, the zinc, the watermelon with squeeze with the lemon, get you some green tea extract. If you find some gojo berries, take you some algae tablets. Change your diet. Get away from anything that has artificial flavoring, artificial sweeteners, and don't cook with canola oil, and don't take anything with high fructose corn syrup. And that would be the way that I would try to eliminate that ED. I know you need a quick fix. I know you're struggling, and from a mental standpoint or a confidence standpoint, that's got to be real crushing for men that don't have a lot of confidence. I can see where you get in a situation where you want to perform and you're not able to. From a man's standpoint, that would be a difficult time, and you'd be trying to get a quick fix. But most of the time, quick fixes don't work long term. So you don't want to ever exchange short-term gratification for long-term satisfaction. So it's a tough question. It's taken over this country with young men, and just like women's health and the thyroid's just crushing these women. Now the birth window for having children is closing before 40. I don't understand that. It's certainly not something that another 10 years, if we don't reverse those trends, it's going to be very difficult. And with all these vaccinations that people are taking, now it's up to 103 to 109 vaccinations if you're born today that you would have by the time you're 18. And folks, anytime you're injecting something and following the herd mentality, just like this COVID, good people fighting good people, some believing, some not believing, some getting false information. It's just a deception. And anytime there's chaos, there's some reason for it. And I'd be very careful. The first question about the nano tattoos and the second question about the EDs, very good questions. I do appreciate those type of questions. And thank you, Frederick from Indiana. My third question of the night is, Phee, you keep speaking about a 7-year peace plan being biblical. Where can I find that passage? Robin in Ohio. Robin, when I had that vision, I saw World War III, but I did not see a two-state 7-year temporary peace plan. But as I studied after that, I realized that you've got to have that peace plan. Why? Because from a biblical standpoint, Israel's got to exchange land for peace. every time they've done that throughout the years, there's never been peace, and there's always been death and destruction for their people. God's always punished the Jews. They've never done right, but they're His people, and He's going to give them an opportunity. In Jesus' second coming, there's going to be a remnant of them saved. But I have to tell you that Daniel had a lot of prophecy teachers, and I never played in that sandbox, but he had a seven weeks, or what they called, and the last week is the problem that everybody's trying to figure out when it started or when it stopped and when it's going to happen. And that 7-year temporary peace plan is the key to the start of the last days, that last week in Daniel's vision. You would go to Daniel 9:27 to have that exact verse. If you don't want to, if you want me to read for some context, I can do that also. But 9:27, this is what it says: "And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week." Well, that 1 week is 7 years. "And in the midst of that week, he shall cause the sacrifices of oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of the abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate." So remember, what's got to happen is the Jews have to build their third temple. They've already got the signs up that the Christians don't like. They think that's a blasphemy. They've already got the construction site. It's on the shared Temple Mount. They've already done the Ref Heifer ceremony for the first time in over 2,000 years, and the ashes of that red heifer now are reporting miracles all over Israel, with blind people but were blind can see, people that are paralyzed can walk, and all kinds of things. People with Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's. So they're already starting with that. But Daniel's, those 7, or that week, remember that's going to be 7 years. And halfway through that is that 3.5-year mark. So they will build that temple. And what will happen is they will start doing their daily sacrifices. Now, halfway into that, 3.5 years in, the Antichrist will stand in that temple. He will tell them to stop that sacrifice. He will proclaim himself as God. That is the 3.5-year tribulation, that is the wrath of Satan. After Michael, our archangel, defeats Satan in heaven, then he is cast down for a short time to make war with the saints. And we are the saints. We are the body of Christ. We are the elect. For that time, we're going to be persecuted, killed. We're going to be jailed. And if we don't take that mark, then he will kill you. You won't be able to buy anything. You won't be able to sell anything. And so a lot of people that have children that are going to want to, they're going to want to eat, and they're going to want to try to take care of their kids. So around the world, you're going to have a lot of people take that mark. But in the United States, I did not see the United States falling completely. We're going to have death. We're going to have lots of casualties. We're going to have civil unrest. You've got a socialist communist movement that's been going on now for a year, and you're fixing to find that a socialist communist is going to be the mayor of New York City. And he said that he is President Trump's worst enemy. You've seen the whole world's fixing to come after the Jews. It's going to be 10 times worse than the Holocaust. And so it's going to be a rough time for those 3.5 years. But the first 3.5 years is going to be fantastic. There's going to be a man, I believe, that is definitely be out of the European Union, but the work I've done, I believe he'll come out of Turkey, but I don't play in that sandbox, and I'll know who he is specifically when he stands in that temple that's not even built yet. So you've got World War III and that sixth trumpet war, and I believe that has to happen before that war's ended and all the world is wants peace, and so this man rises on a platform of peace. He does wonderful things. He's revered by men. Women love him, and he has no desire for women at all. Some people would tell you that's because he's gay. Some people would tell you that's because he's such a man. He doesn't have to work. He's got so many of them loving him that he doesn't even care for them. It just whatever they want to tell you. Again, the different versions and their different commentaries. I just never had done it before 2 years ago, and now a lot of it's just, to me, it's ridiculous. But I'm looking at Florida State plus 3.5. But now, I pay attention to it. I always had 3 TVs in my house and was always up on the financial markets and the news. But now, when I turn it on and see what's going on in the world, and my eyes have been opened to a lot of things, a lot of deception. And I think what you're going to find is if you'll look at Daniel 9:27, you'll see that covenant is made. Now, why do people talk about Gaza? Gaza's not it. The Bible says, Jesus in Matthew 24 says that it's the Judea, Samaria. Well, that's the modern-day West Bank. So what will happen is this two-state solution peace plan will make the Jews give the West Bank to the Palestinians for their state. When they do that, that will start that 7-year peace. That 7-year temporary peace plan. 3.5 years into that plan, that's when you'll have the Antichrist stand. The false prophet will proclaim him as God. They'll rain fire down from the earth. Will they do that with an alien invasion? These alien folks, in the last 6 months, you've got more UFO spottings. They call them UAPs now, and the naval's telling them. You had a committee hearing at the Senate last week, and you've got them all over Texas. They're either demons or angels, or they're, I just don't believe they're aliens from Mars. So, but neither said they're going to have to come up with something very creative to fool the whole world, with the exception of the eagle. Remember, it's very clear in Revelations 12 that we are the eagle that carries the lady with the 12 stars, which is Israel, into the wilderness. Which I'm going to tell you, we're going to protect her even after 3.5 years of the world trying to beat us, the United States and Israel. They still haven't invaded Israel. That's how good our military is and how good their military is. And but they finally, right before the Battle of Armageddon, some of the southern part of the city falls. They think they've won. They've killed the 2 prophets, and after 3.5 days, those prophets are going to stand up and be ascended to God. And a lot of prophecy teachers think that's going to be Enoch and Elijah. A lot of them think it's going to be Moses and Elijah. And a lot of them think it's going to be Elijah and John. And my conclusion is it's not going to be any of them. It's going to be 2 mortal men, 2 humans, that are God's going to give that power to. And they're going to stand there and they're going to prophesy, and they're going to be, as the Revelation says, the candlesticks and olive trees. If you press those olives in, that gives the oil to the candles, which is the church. They're going to give a light to the church, real momentum, and real confidence during a real dark, difficult time. So if you're looking for the verse that talks about that 2-state solution peace plan, it would be found in Daniel 9:27. And he breaks that covenant. He breaks that peace plan 3.5 years, or halfway into that week, as Daniel says it. So that is I hope it answered your question, but you can read all of Daniel 9 if you'd like. I only read that one verse. And I do appreciate your question, Robin from Ohio. Next question. Phee, who are your top 10 quarterbacks in order this year in the NFL? Robbie from California. Well, Robbie, if you're asking me who I think the best 10 quarterbacks are in the NFL, that's a different question than who are the best 10 quarterbacks that I think are going to be this year in the NFL. So when everybody said Tom Brady was the best quarterback in the NFL, I was telling them that it was Aaron Rodgers. Now, when people get hurt and people don't have a good year, they tend to, everybody starts turning on them. You know, the media loves to build you up, and they love to tear you down. And so Aaron Rodgers better have a good season this year, or he will be, they will say he's over the hill, should have retired 3 years ago. Jets made a terrible decision hiring. Pittsburgh made a terrible decision bringing him on. But if he does well, then they will say, well, what a great, the Pittsburgh Steelers organization has made another great move. And Aaron Rodgers is back to being the Aaron Rodgers that we knew. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, sometimes he'd throw 46 touchdowns and 3 interceptions or 4 interceptions. I mean, he was phenomenal. He just, he didn't win but one Super Bowl. So that's, people kind of equate greatness with winning Super Bowls. I'm a coach, and I'm a talent evaluator, so I look at not only the team and their records and their accomplishments, but I'm more interested in that individual player and what he would rank at that position. So there's no question in my mind that anybody that has any sense would tell you that Patrick Mahomes has been the best quarterback for the last 3 or 4 years. But here's the way you worded that question, so here's the way I'm going to answer it. You said, who are the top 10 QBs in order this year in the NFL? Robbie from California. So this is my opinion, but I would tell you that my opinion is normally just phenomenal, and I would certainly accept it as fact most of the time when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks, pitchers, hitters, or basketball shooters and rebounders. But anyway, I've got Mahomes being one this year, and I wavered and wobbled and I weebled like I didn't fall down because the old Phee Smee's a little nervy of not putting Joe Burrows ahead of him. I think Joe Burrows is going to have a phenomenal year if he's healthy. Those wide receivers, that team, it just the Bungles. Their front office and their ownership just was so bad for so many years that people just don't give Joe Burrows the credit. But I've got Mahomes 1 and Joe Burrows 2. A lot of people would put Lamar Jackson at 1 or 2. I have him at 3. Then a lot of people would put your boy Josh Allen from the Bills at 2 or 3. I have him at 4. So and at 5 I have Justin Herbert from the Chargers. So my top 5 for this year in order would be Mahomes, Burrows, Jackson, Allen, and Herbert. So those are my top 5. My 6th quarterback for this year is C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. Stroud is him and the Jaden Daniels boys go 6 and 7 for me. And most of your NFL experts would say, well, they haven't had enough time they're just a 1-year wonder or 2-year wonder. So, well, again, I'm telling you that Jaden Daniels and C.J. Stroud are the real deal. And my name is not Phee, but Phil, so I can do it all day. Anyway, I have Herbert at 5, C.J. Stroud from the Houston Texans at 6, and Jaden Daniels from the Washington, I wish it was the Redskins, but it's the Commanders at 7. At 8, I like Detroit. I love their coach, and I think Jared Goff is going to continue to get better. He might not be in some people's top 10, but he comes in at number 8 at Phee Smee's top 10 QBs for the year 2025. Number 9, I have Matthew Stafford, a phenomenal quarterback, always in high passing efficiency rating. He's been hurt, though, and I don't know how healthy he is. So 9 and 10, I don't have as much confidence in because my number 10 is Aaron Rodgers. And I know that's strange for some people, but Aaron Rodgers to me could jump up in the top 3 if he has an Aaron Rodgers type of year. So I'm pulling for him. My son's favorite team is the Steelers, so I want them to do well anyway. And my oldest son is the Philadelphia Eagles, and they won the Super Bowl. So a lot of people want to know why Jalen Hurts is in my top 10, and he's just not. He's him and Dak Prescott, and Kyler Murray. You can put them where you want to put them, but they're outside my top 10. I know Kirk Cousins has done well for a long period of time, and when he goes to a good team, he normally elevates them. But he's in Atlanta now, and I don't know how healthy he is. Matthew Stafford, I don't know how healthy he is. Dak Prescott, as I answered the question last night about the Cowboys, I'm not a believer in him. He's a middle-of-the-pack QB, in my opinion. And so my top 10, as far as Hurts is concerned, he's a lot of people would have him in that top 10. I might put him at 11 or 12, but you can do what you want to with 9 and 10. If Rodgers is not coming back and Stafford's hurt, you might want to replace them with a Cousins or a Hurts or Kyler Murray. But my top 10 is Patrick Mahomes 1, Joe Burrows 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Josh Allen 4, Justin Herbert 5, C.J. Stroud 6, Jaden Daniels 7, Jared Goff 8, Matthew Stafford 9, and Aaron Rodgers 10. Thank you for that question, Robbie from California. I love talking football. We're fixing to have a football program on. If I can get my sons and his friends a night that's available to all of us, we'll have a weekly 1-hour football show that we ought to be able to rock and roll. So thank you for the questions tonight. In closing, hey, you got to love America. This is where we live. We got to be patriotic. We got to get these people out of our country that don't like our country. He's got 1.5 million of these immigrants out in the last 6 weeks. That's good. It's not good enough. We're not going to be able to get 15 million out in the time that we need. So we're going to have some problems, but we're the winners. And it's time, if you want to make a decision to get on this team, the most important decision you'll ever make is to accept my Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And don't wait another day for that. Remember, yesterday is gone forever, and tomorrow is yet to be. Your next breath is not guaranteed. So make that decision, and you've got to love America. Living in America is the greatest place in the world to live. We've got to prepare, and we'll be coming out with my National Electronic Communications Drill on September the 10th. We need to get that out there before the end of the year and really start preparing our families and our loved ones in our country, because our National Guard, our first responders, our police, we've got to pay those people. They are paramount to our success in this country in the future. So God bless you guys tonight. Thank you for spending an hour with Phee on Night Night. Catch me again tomorrow morning on the Phee Smee Show with Manly Mark at 9 a.m. And then come back at 12 noon for Midday Madness with Manly Mark. I was his guest host today as he was out doing something. And guess what? I just, off the cuff, made it work. And now, tomorrow night, I'll be back with Night Night with Phee. Remember, guys, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing. Night, night.